All I Want for Christmas is a Job. That seems to be the song many are singing this holiday season. And according to a new report, some may be getting what they're asking for. The Willis watchdogs bark about it next. Well, lawmakers have a long to-do list as they return to work today. Topping that list, the ongoing dispute over the expiring tax cuts, which we might have mentioned once or twice during this show already. Is there a chance for compromise? Time to let the Willis watchdogs out. Jeff Havens is a comedian and author in Madison. Mark Levine is a radio talk show host in D.C. And Fox Business's Robert Gray joins us from the newsroom. Mark, let's start with you.
Well, I got to tell you, I may surprise you on this one, Jerry. I am willing to compromise. I think we Democrats are not the party of no. We're willing to reach across the aisle. The difference is that I'm a fiscal conservative. I think that since if you increase the amount to $1 million, it costs $300 billion over 10 years. We got to make that money back. So here's my proposal. Take the amount from $250,000 to $1 million, increase that for just 3 years to allow the economic slump. That saves $200 billion. And then for the millionaires, increase the rate from 3% to 4%. They won't notice whether they make $1 million or $1.01 million, but the economy will have revenue neutrality. So just call that the Mark Levine tax compromise.
Wow. Okay, Robert, what do you say? Will they notice a little bit of a difference in their tax rate?
Something tells me they probably will. You know, a lot of, particularly the self-made ones, probably watched every penny to get there. So you'll definitely have that crowd up in the arms. But certainly it's moving closer towards that. The all or none doesn't. That seems to be a total non-starter here, and they could live up to their name as a lame duck Congress here if they don't get anything done.
Jeff, you know, I look at this and Chuck Schumer from New York has come up with this idea of raising the level for the highest earners to $1 million. And I keep thinking, boy, is he playing to those New Yorkers on Wall Street or what?
I think if you put 10 Democrats in a room, you'd have trouble getting them to agree on what color the sky is. Some would be like, it's blue. No, it's aquamarine. I just wish they would pick a position and stick with it. But then on the other hand, Mitch McConnell's already said that they're going to reject any tax proposal the Democrats put. Doesn't matter what the cap is. And bottom line is, if you want a healthy and vibrant economy, you have to raise revenue and cut spending. We've got Republicans on record as saying that they're happy to cut spending but will not raise revenue. You've got Democrats generally saying they're happy to raise revenue but they won't cut spending. Neither of these proposals is complete by itself, and neither one is going to work by itself.
Well, they just don't seem to be communicating, that's for sure. A new survey by CareerBuilder.com says 40% of retailers are considering making their seasonal workers permanent. That's right. This is more than 600,000 temporary workers are getting paychecks this holiday season, more than at any time in the past 3 years. Is this finally a happy economic story, Robert?
Well, it's a happier one than we've seen in the past 3 Christmases, that's for sure, Jerry. I mean, you've got people who are being hiring in, and it's really happy for the employers because they're getting better qualified candidates than they ever used to now. You may some are overqualified for the positions, but nonetheless, if they turn into permanent, these are folks who could rise through the ranks into some managerial positions.
Jeff, what do you think?
Yes, it's wonderful happy. 600,000 people now have jobs. I mean, Amazon's hired 15,000, UPS is hiring 50,000, and as you pointed out, almost half of these employers are hoping to keep some of these folks on full-time after the holidays. The only thing that could make this any better is if one of these newly employed 600,000 people would buy my house. It is on the market, folks, and it is glorious.
All right.
Best house you'll ever buy.
All right. Well, everybody's got to sell something, right? Mark, what do you say? I mean, it's good that more people are being hired, absolutely. But wouldn't you rather see better jobs, maybe?
I think it illustrates what I've been saying all along, which is that consumers, middle class and working people, are the engines of the economy. The millionaires have more cash than they've had in 50 years, and they're just sitting on it, buying up gold ingots, which is why we need to tailor the tax cuts to the middle class and working people who, guess what, are the engines of the economy.
Gold ingots. All right. More people are joining the effort to push Chicago mayoral candidate Rahm Emanuel off the ballot because he hasn't lived in Chicago for the year leading up to the election. You know, the law requires that. Emanuel rented his Chicago house to Rob Halpin, who renewed the lease just days before Mayor Richard Daley announced his retirement. Emanuel has attempted to persuade Halpin to move, but Halpin refuses and, in fact, is running for mayor himself. Only in Chicago, right, Jeff?
That's exactly right. I have to say, I'm tired of the residency argument. It made sense for me with Hillary Clinton, who never lived in New York before she became a senator there. But we heard it about McCain, which was ridiculous. We heard it about Obama, which was ridiculous. And now about Rahm Emanuel, who was born in Chicago, lived his whole life in Chicago, and served as a congressman from a Chicago district for 7 years. This is an absurd argument. The attorneys prosecuting it are going to lose. And I wouldn't be surprised if I see their shingle on a bus bench someday advertising discount DUI defense in the near future.
Mark, is it ridiculous?
I think it is a bad argument. You know, a lot of people don't remember the obscure case of Bush v. Jones. That was a better argument because under the 12th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, you can't have two people from Texas or any state run for president. When George Bush and Dick Cheney ran, Dick Cheney was living in Texas. So what did he do? In July 2000, all he did was he changed his voter registration, his driver's license. His wife was still a Texas resident, and he claimed to be a Wyoming resident. And the court said, yeah, that's fine by us. If it was fine for Dick Cheney, it's fine for Rahm Emanuel.
Was that a copy of the Constitution you just pulled out of your pocket?
It was. I keep it in my pocket. I keep it wherever I go.
All right. Robert, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if they're questioning whether being in politics is actual public service or not. And he's saying, it's military. I think a lot of folks would question whether or not their, Congress people are actually doing public service, and they're not living in their home districts.
That's a great question. I never thought of it that way. All right, next story. 2 University of Colorado graduates have a new business plan. They're called the Hangover Helpers. After a party, they will bring in breakfast burritos that is, and Gatorade, and then they clean up the mess. They charge $15 a roommate. Robert, do you think they'd come to my house?
Anytime. I wonder what their qualifications were. Were they pledges before, and got this bright idea? And you have to wonder what else they're bringing to the house. After all, Colorado has, legalized marijuana there, so you never know.
Well, Jeff, have you ever thought of either doing this yourself or hiring a group like this?
Oh, God, no, would I do it myself? I've been to college parties that I wouldn't clean up for $1,500. That's unbelievable. But these guys are brilliant. And what they can do is they can take pictures of the parties before they clean them up and then, create a site called themorningafter.com, something like that. It'll supplant Facebook as the most popular website for college traffic. Because it's just a disaster area. But breakfast burritos, that's what I take a real issue with. They should give these kids Gatorade and toast. We're talking about drunk college kids. You give them burritos, they're just going to create more messes that those guys are going to have to clean up.
Mark, do you agree?
I think $15 is a bargain. I would definitely hire these people. But I think Jeff's right. I think there may be an underlying evil here. Maybe they are trying to blackmail people with the before pictures and make a lot more than 15 bucks. So we'll see.
Exactly.
All right. All right, guys. Great job. Thanks, Jeff, Mark, and Robert. Appreciate your help.
Thank you.